Hello everyone, welcome to the community updates of Electronic Let's Play. Today we will discuss a few things that happened in the community. There's some things that I would like to share as every week. So let's start with the ham radio stuff as per usual. And there's not really any news there. I'm still waiting for the MCHF radio kit to become available, so that's something I'm waiting on, but otherwise I am very busy with other stuff. So and also it is really hot outside, so I will not be getting on the roof and installing an antenna in this scorching heat here. It's surprisingly humid here in Oregon. So community updates, weather. Next thing is Glasgow. So there is very good progress that we made. I have a few more to-do items on the hardware itself for the revision C2, and I am working on that. That is almost done. The preparations, after those changes are done, we can order the Pogo pin tester, and we can also start getting the final quotes. So the plan is currently to launch the crowd supply campaign probably by the second week of next month. So it's very short. It might slip a little bit, but this is the deadline that I put on myself. I hope we can meet it. That is the great news there. The changes that we did was like some capacitor stuff. We added a reset button as a feature so that if in an emergency where the device is connected to something and we have a short, we can reset it very quickly. So that will happen. That's pretty much it. The next thing is a project we were working on the streams before. These are the USB PMODs. These PMODs are now, I have the prototype boards. I still have to order PCBs. I have to order the parts for it so that we can make an assembly. So that might happen on one of these streams. We might assemble a prototype of the USB PMOD. And this is a nice thing because this allows us to convert the icebreaker into a very simple USB analyzer. Where we have a USB in and out, and we can use the Luna firmware from Kate to do some USB analysis. So you can look forward to that. And the boards look really pretty in the after dark. I'm not sure it is focusing, but I hope it is. These are really aesthetic boards. So yeah. Next thing is Ice Bitsy or Icebreaker Bitsy, and what Jordi is working on. So I ordered the new prototype. So they will be should probably arrive next week, and I will assemble more and put them in the store. The excess of the of the prototype boards, if they of course pass all our tests, and also. PMOD, okay. The thing, also Jordi made a breakout board so that we can connect PMODs to the Icebreaker Bitsy. So there will be a breakout board for this, and Jordi finalized this. I need to make a review and then we will order that. Pikabeard. See ya. Thank you for joining. That will happen also very soon. And the same thing applies to the gamepad and audio PMODs, which we also worked on here. The boards are also ordered, are in the pipeline. I have more connectors for the SNES pods on order. They are on the way. So we will put them together, also add them to the store. So another new thing that we will be coming to 1-bit squared is on the way. All right, so now let's get to the actual what came out of the community updates. So the Go Jimmy Pie is busy, making a lot of very cool stuff. and he just released a plugin for Visual Studio, not Visual Studio Code, but for Visual Studio to, I'm trying, there we go, that allows you to have syntax highlighting for Verilog. This is a new thing, and you can install it, and he added that. And the cool thing about this, as far as I understand, it allows you also to integrate synthesis and programming into Visual Studio. So essentially use Visual Studio as a Verilog with open source FPGA tools IDE. I personally have not tested it, but Jimmy is putting a lot of effort into this, so I really encourage you to check this out if you are a Windows or Visual Studio user and you're interested in getting a IDE for your FPGA development. Then let's see what's next. Oh yeah, I will get to that. Thank you, Jordi. Can you remind me at the end of the updates that I will mention that? Then next is Will Green. He has a blog that is, he announced that he has already 5 posts in it. The cool thing about this is a lot of tutorial material, and it all, besides the Xilinx RT boards, it also targets the Icebreaker. So you can develop a graphics output Verilog using the Icebreaker, and he has very well written blog posts about this. You should check out his forum. So this is very nice, and he put a lot of effort into this. So that is something you should take a look at. All the links to all these news will be down in the description when you watch it as an archive. Next is DXMon, or Rachel, and she is, as you know, working on an open source mechanical keyboard, or a mechanical keyboard that has an improved RGB lighting system. And this, as a side track, essentially, she was trying to use OpenOCD to program AVR CPUs, and it turns out that the code for AVR programming in OpenOCD is stubbed out. It's actually a pointer to null, so OpenOCD just crashes instead of even giving you an error. So she's working in this fork of OpenOCD to add AVR support to OpenOCD. I hope this will also trickle through into Blackmagic Probe eventually. That would be really nice. And yeah, so that is something you should definitely check out. Give it a try if you are using AVR and doing programming and you want to try out things. You should check out what Rachel is working on and work with her to essentially try to stabilize this code. I know there's very little open source AVR tooling, as far as I understand. You usually just end up using the provided AVR stuff. AVR at least is not very bad. Like, they are actually supporting the open source stuff usually, so they are better than Microchip in general, but now they are owned by Microchip, so who knows. So it is good to have this stuff documented actually in code, in functioning routines outside of the vendor tools. That's the whole gist here of this community and what we are doing here. So that shouldn't come as a surprise. So that said, I started to. Oh, this is another thing. So this is a thing I wanted to announce here. I started to do voice chats on our Discord, where I just am working on stuff. This is basically a completely informal stream, not stream. So I essentially work on stuff without trying to give it structure, and just hang out in voice on Discord. And we already did this twice last week, and it was, I think, quite a big success. We had really nice chats and hanging out, basically like a virtual hackerspace. Where we can talk about the projects we are working on, share this stuff, and it is more of a multi-directional communication thing. So I really recommend that you come to the Grunt Talks because I came up with that name because essentially if multiple people are working on hardware, someone will be grunting and huffing and puffing because something is not going the way that it should. So that's why I decided on that name. Maybe we'll come up with a different one later. But yeah, join to our, and they are not scheduled at all. That's the point. I don't, it is really difficult for me to keep the schedule of these streams already, so I don't really want to add an additional layer of scheduling. I do announce them in streaming and do, if you are in the stream watchers category, you will get a highlight when that happens. So I might create a separate notification category in Discord that is just for the Grunt Talks. But yeah, usually when someone is in the voice chat, you will see also an icon on the Discord server that there is voice going on. I do encourage others to just jump in and hang out with each other and work on stuff together. Yes, it does. It might be not as productive to hang out with others, but it is a lot of fun nonetheless. And I did have really good input and help from others working on certain things. So we figured out a few solutions for the Glasgow just because we were hanging out together. So Jordi and Rachel were hanging out when we were trying to figure out the research circuitry for Glasgow, and I would not have come up with the solution we have now without their help. So this does end up being productive in other ways. So maybe I'm not as fast at routing when I'm in that chat, so I'm not doing it all the time, but otherwise I do recommend that you check it out from time to time and hang out with us. All right, a completely different topic from a different universe is I take notes on paper, and I like hardcover notebooks, and I was trying to find a notebook that has inside millimeter paper, not 5 millimeter square paper, millimeter paper. So the squares are 1 by 1 millimeter. This is used for mechanical drawings sometimes and architecture and stuff. And it is surprisingly hard to find a hardcover notebook with millimeter paper. So I like doing like some drawings, and I like to have the finer guides. And I asked Twitter, and so far the closest thing we found is this not actually hardcover, but at least a notebook that is bound, that is this millimeter, as well as fully custom, not very great looking ones, but like archival level paper custom notebooks from this company called Book Factory, and they are doing it for the industry. So theoretically we could buy those, but it's like, it feels, yes, the hardcover is fairly important to me because I put it in my backpack, and I like this stuff to be like resilient to that, and it also feels nicer. I'm asked, the graphic, the millimeter paper one would be fine, and I probably will get one of those, but I am asking for the perfection here. I'm looking for the exactly perfect everything, all the marks ticked solution, and that's the goal here. So yeah. So yeah, I do need another project, right? So maybe we should explore making a run of those. If other people are interested in the hardcover notebook with millimeter paper inside, maybe we should make custom ones. Who knows? So yeah, I am oogling that possibility, and it's like, oh, the 1-bit squared notebook. Maybe that will be a thing at some point. So yeah. Anyways, that would be it for community updates. And there is one more thing that Jordi pointed out. The Icebreaker FPGA org website has now content. Yes, finally, we have content on the website. So basically it links to documentation, and we have a lot of documentation for the Icebreaker in here, like pinout diagrams. It's still work in progress. Jordi did an amazing job of putting this together, and we will continue expanding this, but at least now we have something where a static documentation of the Icebreaker. Also, he made this really beautiful cards for the Icebreaker Bitsy. So you should check it out. And yeah, we will also do the same thing for the PMODs and list them on here, so you can find all the documentation in one place about all the different FPGA related stuff on here. Oh, getting started. Awesome. So let's see. Yeah, so yeah, we are getting there. So we have workshops in here linked, and yeah, it will keep getting expanded. Again, if you are interested, you have something to contribute from the community to help us with the documentation, you feel motivated, yeah, it's all on GitHub, and all help is always very much welcome. And I'm sure Jordi and I will be able to coordinate work and get that stuff done. So yeah. Pull requests are welcome, as always. All right, so that would be it for updates today, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you for supporting this kind of community updates. If you are a Patreon, I really appreciate that. These streams wouldn't be happening probably if not for the really generous donations from the Patreons. So I really appreciate that, and I would like to give the shout out here also in this segment to them. So as always, thank you very much to Jamin, Aki Van Ness, Ben Vanik, Brennan Ashton, Drew Fustini, Edward Borden, Go Jimmy Pai, Jeff Wang, Jonas Kudat, Jordi Paki Rodriguez, Kelly, Matis Schmieder, Matthias Pritchett, Miha Benovets, Sid Price, Tom Keddy, and Sean C. So as always, thank you very much for all the supporters, all the subscribers here on Twitch. I really appreciate that. These streams would not be happening if not for your generous support. So yeah, and as always, also check out 1-bit squared if you are interested in some hardware. So that would be it for this week, and thank you very much for being with us, and see you next Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye.